Welcome back to the Banganator podcast, brought to you by your host, Esley Banga, Season 2, Episode 6. But y'all know what it is. How about them Cowboys? Unplugging the Chargers on Monday Night Football primetime. I was at Texas Live. It's in the name, Texas Live. And everybody was live. Everybody was lit. It was even better because the Texas Rangers had just won Game 2 of the series. And then I go from that to Monday Night Football, Cowboys win, and it was a thriller. The Cowboys won 20-17, and even though I would like a better offensive performance, they played better, way better. All of our playmakers put in work. Dak Prescott went 21-30, 272 yards, 1 touchdown. And he had a rushing touchdown on a read option. He almost fumbled on that play, but he was able to get a hold of it and almost untouched to the end zone. I was going crazy. Tony Pollard, he only had 30 rushing yards, had 80 receiving yards as well. So let's not forget about that. CeeDee Lamb, 117 yards. Like we said, we needed to involve CeeDee Lamb more in the offense. That is what happened. So good job, Mike McCarthy. Good job, Dak, for getting the ball out to him. Brandon Cooks, we were finally able to get him rolling in the offense. 36 yards, 4 receptions, 1 touchdown. And there were a few key plays where we had to convert a long second down or had to convert a third down, and the ball went to him, and he was reliable. Caught the ball. On the defensive side of the ball, not much, but we were able to hold the Chargers to 17 points. And on top of that, at the very end of the game, a second to last defensive play, Micah Parsons had a sack on Justin Herbert, and the play after that, we sealed the game with an interception. So that's what I like to see. Great team win. It wasn't pretty, but we got the job done in the end. Some things I wanted to point out was Dak did his job. He did his job. He didn't throw no picks. He did get sacked a few times, but he was looking good, especially in the pass game. Hitting his receivers. Like I said, CeeDee Lamb, 117 receiving yards. And I know they were check downs for the most part, but Tony Pollard with 80 receiving yards. Now, some things that did concern me was our continuous offensive struggles. We were punting way too many times. And part of that reason was the penalties, especially O-line. O-line, we can't revert back to last year or 2 years ago whenever we doing good, we driving down the field, and then all of a sudden, holding, 10-yard penalty, false start, 5-yard penalty. So we can't do that. We can't get behind the sticks. We got to stay on schedule when it comes to first, second, third down so we can have more manageable plays. Let's put it this way. You are making Dak Prescott's job harder and Mike McCarthy's job harder whenever you commit penalties that puts us 5 to 10 yards back. Whenever we could have had an easier play and then kept driving down the field for a touchdown. So I am concerned about that. Not able to score enough. Like I said, there's just way too many times where we were punting the ball, and credit to the Chargers defense for limiting us to 20 points and not letting us score like we usually want to. But offense got to be better. We got to click better. And let me say this. Brandon Aubrey, rookie kicker in the NFL, kicked soccer balls in the MLS, said, you know what? I want to know if I'm good at this football thing. Let me go try. Tries out for the Dallas Cowboys, gets the job, and right now on the season is 16 for 16 on field goals. Good job. Good job. He might be the Cowboys rookie of the year. No lie. He is doing his job. He's doing what he got to do. That is the definition of consistency. Because, usually you got Justin Tucker and then everybody else. But this year is Justin Tucker. And then the next closest kicker is Brandon Aubrey. So good job. Good job. The Cowboys got a bye week this week, but we play the Rams next week. And I expect us to win that game. But the Rams, Matthew Stafford, he can throw that ball. And then we see players like, obviously, Cooper Kupp is back, so we got to worry about him. And Puka Nacua, this rookie, he has been producing. I am jealous of the person in my league that has him as a wide receiver because he's been producing, especially with Cooper Kupp gone. Now that Cooper Kupp is back, he's been producing a little bit less expectedly, but he is a good receiver to have. So I am going to be worried about the Cowboys defense trying to stop their potentially high-powered offense. I got some good news for y'all when it comes to fantasy football. I finally won again. First time I had a win in fantasy football since week 1. So I won 114-80. I'm 2-4, and it's about damn time that all of my players finally produce. Like y'all gonna see, I got a longer list of players that produce for me that got double digits and overachieved compared to what they were doing the whole entire season. Finally, all of my starters were clicking. Tua Tagovailoa. He had me 22 points, 262 yards, and 3 touchdowns. You already know. Tyreek Hill was going off. Jalen Waddle, Tua's receiver, who I also got on my fantasy, got me points. He was producing as well. Product of Tua's nice arm. 18 points, 51 receiving yards, 1 touchdown. Good job, Jalen Waddle. Josh Jacobs. He got me 11 points, but he got 77 yards on the day. Zay Flowers. I'm glad I picked up Zay Flowers and drafted him before the season started. The way that he was going off in preseason, I just knew he had something special. 17 points for me this week, 50 yards, and his first career touchdown. Kyle Pitts, finally you produced for me. I've been waiting on this. Dalton Kincaid wasn't doing nothing for the Bills, so I was like, all right, you know what? Kyle Pitts, he had a good day last week, so let me put him in this week because I know Dalton Kincaid not going to do nothing. So let me take my chances with Kyle Pitts, even though the Falcons' offense can be anemic at times. Kyle Pitts got me 14 points, 43 yards, and his first touchdown of the season. So finally, good job, Kyle Pitts. Justin Tucker, 19 points, 6 field goals. He went 6 for 6. Good job, Justin Tucker. And the Detroit defense, they got me 10 points. They held Tampa Bay to only 6 points, which surprised me since Tampa Bay, led by Baker Mayfield, have been doing a good job, surpassing expectations, especially Baker. So I'm so proud of my guys, my players. Hopefully they can keep doing a good job going into next week so I can be 3-4, one step closer to getting to 500 and one step closer to getting a playoff spot. If you watch this regularly, you know what time it is. It's time for the Banganator's top banging plays of week 6 in the NFL. At number 4, I got Chargers superfan Mariana Doe. On Monday Night Football, she was largely talked about because of her high reactions, tense 1 minute, happy, elated the next minute, and then by the end of the game, when my Cowboys beat her 20-17, she was in despair and disappointment was all over her face. Now, people were getting on her on Instagram and Twitter. They were like, nah, she's not real. She's a paid actress. She's a bot. That ain't true. Don't listen to that. Tom Pelissero from the NFL Network reassured us she and her husband are season ticket holders and they're diehard fans. And there was more confusion when the internet does what it does and found old pictures of her in a Vikings jersey, but it turns out she used to live in Minnesota. She was a Vikings fan, then she moved to LA a few years ago with her husband, and now they're diehard Chargers fan. But y'all ain't gotta take it from me. Here's Mariana on the Pat McAfee Show.
I couldn't handle it. I was excited, I was elated, my heart was just bursting, and I was super excited. I've been a football fan as long as I can remember, and a Chargers fan ever since I moved to California almost 20 years ago. I love the passion, I love all of it, and I just feel like everything in our life, as long as we're passionate about the things we love, like, who cares about everything else?
At number 3, I got Tyreek Hill's badass touchdown celebration. Tua Tagovailoa drops back to pass, completes a pass to Tyreek Hill. Tyreek does what he does with his speed, 41-yard touchdown. This dude runs out the back of the end zone, grabs some dude's phone, records himself doing a backflip. Now, I know he's probably going to get fined for that, but like, that's badass. Tyreek Hill, keep doing you. At number 2, I got upsets in the NFL. Specifically, as a Cowboys fan, I ain't gonna lie, the Jets beating the Eagles and the Browns beating the 49ers. In the Jets versus Eagles game, the Jets defense showed up big time, and Jalen Hurts' offensive struggles continued. Jalen Hurts leads the NFC East in interceptions. He threw 3 more interceptions in this game and ended the game off a pick. Jets beat the Eagles 20-14. In the Browns versus 49ers game, Browns took the lead towards the end. 49ers had one last chance and kicked a field goal. They missed. Wide right, barely. And you know that made me happy after the beatdown that they gave to us. Browns won 19-17. And at number 1, I got Dak Prescott's rushing touchdown. Like I mentioned earlier, Dak Prescott, read option, almost fumbled the ball, but was able to keep a grip of it, took off, almost untouched, touchdown. So those are my top banging moments in the NFL in Week 6. I appreciate y'all for watching this episode of the Banganator Podcast. Please like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow me at the Banganator Podcast on Instagram and Banganatorpod_4 on Twitter X. No Cowboys game this week, but we still got the Texas Rangers facing the Houston Astros in the ALCS. Go and take it. And the Texas Longhorns facing the University of Houston. Hook 'em.
The Banganator podcast is brought to you by Esley Banga, diehard fan of the Dallas Cowboys since 1997. How about them Cowboys?